Hello, I'm the Who Guy and welcome back to another episode review, episode 4 of season 1. I am still confused by that decision. However, yes, season 1, episode 4, 73 yards. This is my episode review and kind of rating of what I thought about the episode. Very excited to get into this review. Just before we start, can you make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and comment down below what you guys thought of the episode, and click up there if you want to enter the 200 subscriber giveaway. I'm going to go through the good, the bad, and my overall opinion on the episode itself, so let's dive into it. With some of the good things that I loved about this episode, I've got to say the whole story and episode of a whole I loved. I thought the tones, the horror tones in it was cool and creepy and scary. I thought the villain, there was kind of two villains in this episode, where you had the woman 73 yards away following Ruby, but we also did have the Prime Minister villain, which I thought was executed really well. I think all of the politics in this episode was spot on, and I thought it it didn't push too much into the politics in this episode like Doctor Who has done in many previous episodes. However, this time I thought the politics was handled well, and I loved the set design as well, especially with the whole Albion promotion. I thought was amazing, and I also thought the actor did very well portraying this kind of scary real world Prime Minister. All the story was really cool. I thought it was a bit confusing. We'll get into that in maybe the bad section. However, I really did like the two villains in the story, and the story as a whole really wrapped up well at the end. And yeah, a unique Doctor Who story is something that I didn't think we would see much of in this season, with Russell coming back. Maybe try and rehash something. This felt unique and I loved it. I stand out by far of anything in this episode has to be Ruby Sunday Millie Gibson. I thought she did a fantastic job. Watched Doctor Who Unleashed straight after the episode and found out this was the first episode that she filmed, and did she knock it out of the park? Yes, I thought she was absolutely brilliant throughout the episode, especially that scene where she gets older and older. She didn't really look older, to be honest, until that final scene where she was about 80. However, I thought she did a fantastic job showing what it is like to just be the companion of the Doctor and then the Doctor to completely disappear, as well as the scariness of someone following you for pretty much the rest of your life. I was thinking throughout the whole episode how that would make me feel, and I would just be constantly messed up in the head.
I can't change what's already happened. There are rules.
Massive character building for her, and we don't really get this from companions in the first season, so to get a whole episode of Ruby in the 4th episode I thought was a fantastic idea, and really has done well for her character. So if I was listing companions now, I thought she's had more character progression than some recent companions in just one episode. And yeah, I'm blabbering on, but she was wonderful. I thought as well the extra cast in this episode were fantastic, whether that was Kate Lethbridge Stewart or whether that was Ruby's mum or Mrs. Flood. I think they all knocked it out of the park as usual, and really happy to see these returning characters not just come back as that old look, we're here kind of thing, come back and actually play a role in the episode as well. Having Unit in this episode, we did get kind of an inkling that there might be a spin-off with the war between the land and the sea references. So is that going to be the spin-off with Unit and this kind of magical, spiritual enemies all around the world? I can see it happening. A lot of people have been suggesting that it's going to be Sea Devils. I'm not too sure now. I think it might actually just be kind of like Torchwood vibes, where we're going to have just other worldly beings coming in to Earth and Unit basically having to defend it. I gotta say, there's been loads of Doctor Who episodes in the past where they have been Doctor Light, such as Turn Left and of course Love and Monsters, and I thought this episode knocked it out of the park without having to have the Doctor in the episode. I think Ncuti, his bits in it were fun, they were cool, but he was, let's be honest, hardly in this episode. But I still liked it. It does gripe me a tad because we're not going to see Ncuti a lot in a series, as there's only 8 episodes. However, I think this episode really did focus on Ruby well, and to not have the Doctor in it, I was completely fine with. Also give mention to the set design and location filming. It looked absolutely stunning. Really gave me vibes of old Doctor Who, not Lockdown Doctor Who like the Flux. I thought the locations that they filmed on was amazing, and I just loved the Welsh theme. I'm going to Cardiff soon, so it got me really excited to go to Wales. And I loved the TARDIS on that cliff top. Reminded me, of course, of Jodie Whittaker's Regeneration. However, that TARDIS, when it was getting worn and aged, looked brilliant. As well as the pub scene, I thought that was done really, really well. Very spooky and scary. And then you also had that humour in there as well, which really kind of lifted the scene up. And I just absolutely loved the set design in that pub, as well as the set design. Obviously we had the Albon kind of offices. I thought that was done very well, and of course using the Millennium Stadium, Cardiff City, and that looked of course awesome. So that was really cool that they got to film there. I'm going there as well in a couple of weeks time, so that'd be really cool.
Just to mention that of course Susan Twist was in the episode once again. Still don't know about that mystery.
Loads of good in this episode, and I've got to be honest, there's not that much bad. There's only 2 things I could say bad about this episode, and that is kind of crazy. One of them being the runtime. I think the runtime just needed to be a bit longer. I thought it was kind of cut off. I was thinking about the whole episode and how are they going to kind of resolve it. And they kind of did the Russell kind of resolve it in the last 5 minutes kind of thing. I'm not too big a fan of that. However, I thought it was done a bit better in this episode than other episodes. However, yeah, it just did feel like we needed this to be maybe a 2-parter thing. It did remind me of the kind of Torchwood series arcs in one episode. I thought this could have been a cool concept of a series. Unfortunately, I think it would have benefited for a longer runtime. Even if it was a 15 extra minutes, I think it would have done this episode wonders. But apart from that, not too much else to say bad about this episode.
Good, that's good.
I am a bit still confused about the whole episode, and of course the 3 yards lady was Ruby, I think. I could be completely wrong about that, but I think that is Ruby. I think that whole hospital scene was done well, but I think it's Ruby. I'm still not sure, so comment down below. Trying to get my head around it.
Is there even a word for how dumb you are?
I kind of like that about Doctor Who, where you don't get the answers, and I don't have the answer to why. I don't know what the woman was saying to the people running away, so yeah, we're just... I don't know, it could have been this unearthly being. I'm not too sure. I think it was Ruby, but I'm not sure hours later. So if you guys have any answers, comment down below, or theories what you think that was about. Overall, what did I think about this episode? I thought it was really fun again. I've got to say that about most episodes of this season. They're really fun. But this one had just a bit more than all of the others. So I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. And this is my favourite episode of Doctor Who in this season. I thought Ruby, of course, was the standout in this episode. However, the extra cast within it was absolutely amazing. The locations and set designs really lifted this episode above the previous episode, Boom, which I thought had the worst set designs of pretty much any Doctor Who. I just think the villain and the whole concept of the episode was done really well. To describe this episode in 3 words, it would be entertaining, creepy, and confusing, but in a good way. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to give it a like, that would be fantastic, and subscribe of course if you are new to the channel, and make sure you do click up there. I haven't entered the competition. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm the Who Guy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Even the TARDIS is confused.